These giant corporations vote Democrat. Why? Because they want government favoritism. Just remember this: Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. There's your argument. Which party do you think is the party of corrupt big business, cronyism? Do you think it's portrayed accurately by the media? Because this is one thing I've seen a lot, and it drives me crazy. And it is remarkable to me. And I will debunk this, hopefully, with just 5 words immediately after this clip. Everyone accepts this myth. Big business. They are Republicans. Sorry, the party of big business, crony capitalists. Here you go. Don't hear my word for it.
When will you centrists realize if you play the corporate money game, you will always lose to Republicans?
I did too. It was a tablecloth.
Always. They will always out big business you, out corporate you, no matter how much blood money you take or how far to the right you run.
We are going to put pro-worker appointees on the NLRB, not stooges, but big business.
Because business owners don't work, apparently. So listen, it's true. Most business owners lean right. Yours truly, G. Morgan Jr., but that's because the vast majority of businesses are small to mid-size. And by the way, when I say small to mid-size, I'm talking about well into the tens of millions of dollars. I'm not saying 20 employees, you would be into the tens of millions, although actually there are plenty of businesses with 20, but we're comparing this to the big billionaire businesses. So it's true. Listen, the big billionaire businesses, multi-billion dollar conglomerates, cronies. Got it. But Republicans? All right, 5 words for you.
Have you watched the news?
Top 5 companies by market value: Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. Let me give you that again. Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft.
Okay,
Sorry, Google is Alphabet, which has both Google and YouTube.
When did that change?
When you think of those, do you think of a bastion of right-wing conservatism?
No.
These are by far the biggest businesses in the world right now. So let's look at specific partisan policies that these companies have actually supported. Let's go to Apple first. Most platforms, we've talked about this, most platforms, when we'll get to Facebook and YouTube, they claim to be neutral. Apple doesn't. They're positively boastful.
Not at all.
Hey, Tim Cook, read an Aesop fable. Here you go. After banning boast. Yeah, that's the first time I heard that. The CEO, Tim Cook, bragged about banning Alex Jones after deplatforming and saying that their values were dictated, or at least dictated what they would even allow, for example, in their App Store. Here you go.
At Apple, we are not afraid to say that our values drive our curation decisions. And why should we be?
Why? I can't think of a good reason why. By the way, we're going to get to, at the end of the political contributions and the macro policies that all of these companies support. I want to get to the individual sort of, causes of these people, the ones close to their heart, because he's not afraid.
He's
not afraid to speak out.
Probably got cheered for that.
Tim Cook, I am glad that you are brave enough to stand up for us. All right, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, mostly given to Democrats, supported a litany of their causes.
Surprise.
And for those who don't know, a very vocal, outspoken critic of Trump, saying that, here you go, listen to him.
It is a mistake for any elected official, in my opinion, I don't think this is a very out there opinion, to attack media and journalists. What the president should say is,
I love how he just equates
right,
media and journalists.
This is good. I'm glad I'm being scrutinized, and that would be so secure and confident.
Again, remember, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. So anytime someone tells you Republicans are the party of big business, you're saying Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft. Amazon, I don't know. I just made up a new one. I guarantee you that one. Probably market cap at $1 trillion. Let's move on to Alphabet, Google. We know obviously that they censorship. They employ censorship of conservatives. The thing about Google is they couldn't be less politically diverse if they attempted it.
It would be very difficult.
So for those of you who don't recall, obviously remember James Damore, he was fired for questioning the far left policies. But here's what I love even more than that. So you would say, well, maybe that's a one-off. All right, next clip we're going to get to is after Trump was elected, Google, Alphabet, held this massive, did you ever see it? You've never seen this video. A massive company-wide therapy session.
I want to see it.
And okay, I'll just go to it then.
Yeah.
Let's face it, most people
why we need
here
better care for
are,
homeless in this country.
Pretty upset and pretty sad.
He's been chewing on his collar
because of the election.
The values that are held dear at this company transcend politics, because we're going to constantly fight.
That's another way of saying
them.
I'm lying to you
People
about politics.
are leaving.
Exactly right.
Staff is crying. We're going to lose. That was the first moment I really felt like we were going to lose. And it was this massive, kick in the gut.
Well, Okay.
I'm sorry, I got excited.
Thank God you probably passed menopause. Here's the thing.
It was great.
Do you notice something else that people, before, where they were talking about journalism and media, they equated the two. Do you hear what she just said? I think a lot of people missed that. She said, I realized that we were going to lose. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Are you, Chelsea Clinton's the head of Google? What's happening here?
What?
We were going to lose. It assumes that every single person at Google, at Alphabet, at YouTube, subsequently, agree with her. We. And when you look at you look at who they fired, like James Damore, you look at the memos that circulate, it really is absolutely a political monolith. That's why I say this is above politics. It's not about left versus right. It's about right versus wrong. Really? You held mass therapy because the guy who is not we, meaning any Republican, won. And listen, we understand it's fine to outright, of course, ban violence, although they don't really do this on a lot of social media platforms. But YouTube, they've gone as far, they've labeled a lot of right-wing content as violations of terms of service. And it's not just shadow banning. They have this new term, on-the-border content. We've talked about this, but again, for people who don't understand the politics of Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, here you go.
So content that violates our guidelines, our hate speech guidelines, which prohibit anything
that's broad enough, but she gets even broader here.
Against individuals or groups.
Third most powerful company in the world.
Promotes hatred against individuals or groups based on their characteristics, including race, gender, ethnicity, religion. All of that content is a violative of our community guidelines.
Okay.
But content that's on the border is content that we no longer include in our recommendation algorithm, and it can also be demonetized, and comments are disabled, etc. So we do our best to ensure that content that is on the border isn't fully distributed across.
Well, hold on a second. It's like before you were talking about your violation. It's like saying, we know that we have made murder a crime. Okay, understood. Right. Also, all the other actions
that could ever possibly.
All of them.
How do we define those? They are. So we have, of course, murder over here, right? Yeah. And then under this umbrella, all of the other ones. And we ban both equally. We ban all the other ones. She says explicitly on the border, which at first I thought it was like a commercial for a salsa. She says,
exactly.
On the border, they'll demonetize it. They'll take it out of suggested videos.
Right.
Yeah.
Which isn't,
That's big, right? Because if your means of income is to put YouTube videos out there, you need it to be in suggested videos. You need views. You need dollars.
This is
not
again,
demonetized.
How else do you get people to view your videos?
Well, you can't.
Except for
and by the way, how do they
suggested?
become one of the most, not profitable, one of the most worthy, one of the most valuable companies in the world? By people creating content for their platform.
Exactly.
So that is when we talk about workers' rights and revolutions and seizing the means of production. That's not what I'm talking about. But I am saying a dishonest business practice when you say, please upload to our platform here. And it's gone.
Yeah.
Wait, it was one of all of the other things. By the way, they've done this to change my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not dealing with their terms of service here. I don't understand this. I don't want to be self-gratifying here. But if you were going to ban and demonetize, or demonetize at least, change my mind, what could possibly be acceptable right-wing content? I mean, granted, it's not 12-year-olds or 8-year-olds in drag queen tranny makeup tutorials. I understand that this is on the border for you.
That's trending page material right now.
It's not quite a 4-year-old singing Happy Birthday, Mr. President like Marilyn Monroe above some kind of a sewer grate with it blowing up his skirt. I get it. You want fun for the whole family. For you to understand that, it's first we have rape.
Oh, geez.
Bad. Rape, okay? But then we have everything you just said. So rape, bad, and all the words you used.
Margarita time on the border.
On the border. Okay. Microsoft, of course, we go. Listen, Bill Gates, of course, we know Bill Gates. He was the wealthiest person in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Now Bezos thinks it's cute. But we are at the point here where he doesn't really champion the free market that brought him to that point. He's been pretty critical of it. He's even supported far-left causes like carbon taxes, which we'll get to. Why would a business support that if you think it would harm businesses? Well, again, this is why the big companies almost always support policies that hurt mid-sized and small companies. Bill Gates and his wife, long history, by the way, of supporting causes like population control, the abortion
Big
industry.
fans of China.
Yeah, well, his dad served on the board of Planned Parenthood. I think we have a clip.
One issue that really grabbed me as urgent were issues related to population, reproductive health. When I was growing up, my parents were always involved in various volunteer things. My dad was head of Planned Parenthood. And
loved killing babies.
It was very controversial to be involved with that.
Think of that for a second. The richest, most powerful man in the world's father was head of Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
If that's not terrifying, and this is what
On a volunteer
they're
basis.
not kind of leftist, by the way.
Yeah.
After Trump cut, the Mexico City policy was Bush and City, then it was reversed by Barack Obama, so that we wouldn't be funding abortion overseas, and the reversal was reversed by Donald Trump. I know this is kind of nerdy policy wonkish. The point is, the Gateses, I think that's how you say it. The Gateses, the Flanders is. They responded by giving $375 million to abortion-providing organizations.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
$375 million to the services of killing babies. It's philanthropy.
Well, and he's made
You
a
say
comment.
tomato, I say get the forceps. Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft. Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft. Anytime someone says big business, let's go to Facebook. Of course, more censorship of the right. We've known this since 2016. Facebook, there was this big Gizmodo article where I found out my page was being throttled.
Oops.
Imagine my surprise. I was reading the list. Okay, Ted Cruz, all right, Breitbart, and Chris Kyle Foundation. Ha!
I know that guy.
One of these things that's not like the other. One's running for president. One goes undercover as a tranny. I don't know why. Anyway, this has been going on it's been going on for years now, since at least it was revealed in 2016. Here's how you know that it's severe. Zuckerberg, when he was asked, couldn't name a single figure from the left who was banned from the platform.
Let me ask this question. Are you aware of any ad or page that has been taken down from Planned Parenthood?
Senator, I'm not,
God.
but let me just...
how about MoveOn.org?
Sorry?
How about MoveOn.org?
I'm not specifically aware of those.
How about any Democratic candidate for office?
I'm not specifically aware. I mean, I'm not sure.
Someone get Tim Cook. He's not afraid to speak out. They should decide whether they're a publisher or whether they're a platform. Again, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft. I know the order might have switched, but I'm going by rote. By the way, I know what you're saying. Well, what about big oil? What about the Koch brothers? This is what a lot of people talk about. Again, this is sort of the sleight of hand. Look at what's going on the left hand, and in this one, I'm fondling you. That's what happens with most magicians.
What is that, Joe Biden?
No, it'll be our president or Joe Biden. It could be anybody. Namely, it was the great Mandini was his name. I saw him in Montreal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I left. I left a changed man.
Okay, yeah.
He's also a priest. So they rail against big oil all the time. I think we have a clip, right, of getting big oil money, getting these corporate monies out of politics. I just fixed it by saying monies.
Do it. Yeah.
So there's nothing stopping me from being entirely funded by corporate PACs, say from the fossil fuel industry, the healthcare industry, big pharma. I'm entirely 100% lobbyist PAC funded.
It is imperative that corporations not be allowed to give money to politicians or to the political system in any way, shape, or form. That is the most important rule and law that we need in this country.
Okay, let's rattle through this really quickly. Top 10 oil companies in the entire United States industry, like ExxonMobil, Chevron, all the big boogeymen, don't even crack $1 trillion in value. Okay,
combined.
Compared to the companies we've just gone through again, can you say it with me? Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, $4 trillion. About.
Wow.
5 companies. Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft. Did I miss any? Amazon? Facebook. I think, They're worth 4 times, just 5 companies worth 4 times the entire United States oil industry.
Wow.
Where do you think where do their campaign donations go? 90%, we know roughly, from Google, they give to Democrats. And by the way, you can look at this across the board. Some people say, well, they give to both. Well, so does Wall Street. Wall Street is pretty split. A lot of these companies are split because they're just hedging their bets. They want to give to both. Yeah. That's why it's important to look at their individual policies, look at their individual viewpoints, certainly of the CEOs, and then look at the totality of the donations, most of which still go to Democrats, overwhelmingly. And this is something else that I think a lot of people miss. Well, these businesses, all of them, they support things like net neutrality. They support intrusive government policies like carbon taxes.
Interesting.
Right? All kinds of red tape. Why? It begs the question, you have top 5 companies, they weren't created in some kind of a leftist petri dish. No. How do they all agree on these policies? Well, for the exact opposite reason that mid-tier and small business owners overwhelmingly vote against those policies. So small business owners and middle-sized business owners, they overwhelmingly vote Republican because they want an even playing field.
Yes.
They want to be able to run a business and make sure that nobody's getting an unfair advantage. Whereas these giant corporations vote Democrat. Why? Because they want government favoritism. Yeah. That's the important factor here. When you look at a huge divide between all businesses and then the top 5, it does beg the question, why? You look at these far left companies, these huge companies where they support these leftist causes. Well, for the same reason that the giant banks supported big bank bailouts, whereas when you look at it, the smaller banks and the middle tier banks, by the way, still millions upon millions of dollars in these banks, didn't support it. Why? Because the big banks know, of course, or you look at all these government regulations, that it's a drop in the bucket for them, but it could be absolutely it could be crushing to these middle-sized businesses, to these small-sized businesses. They won't be able to burden these costs. Someone like Google, someone like Bill Gates says, hey, I can pay the carbon tax. You know who can't? It's a business that's only worth $40 or $50 million, the upstart software company. That's going to cripple their ability. So I'm going to play ball with the government. This is important for people to note, and it doesn't matter. This is what I've always talked. I'm not a guy who cares about big business versus small business versus middle business, because guess what? I keep saying middle. I mean to say mid-tier. Mid-tier business.
It's middle business.
I only care about good business, because if you have an even playing field, it doesn't matter the size of your business. What matters is that you're playing the game honestly. What matters, I don't care if you go out, sell your wares, whatever you want to do, as long as you are not doing so at the taxpayer's expense, suckling at the government teat.
Tesla.
And it's really important to me for everyone to know this is one of those truisms that just isn't true. Well, Republicans are the party of big business. Well, we could also do a whole segment on Wall Street, but we don't need to. Just remember this: Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. There's your argument. Hey there, if you like this video, this is the part where I would usually tell you to subscribe, but I can't do it anymore. I'm going to tell you to subscribe, and then YouTube is going to decide that we can't reach you even though you subscribe to this channel, and then I'll say hit the notification bell, and then the notification bell won't even be there anymore. I don't know what to say. More than likely you'll find my face in a milk carton. But do what you can to stop it. It probably won't do much.